How to get funding for a new truck, trailer, any type of vehicle, equipment, etc., that will be more costly, right? If we're looking at over 20,000, 40, 50 plus. Okay. Now I know what your concern is. You were asking yourself, how much can I actually qualify for? And then there are those of you who say, when I ask you how much funding are you looking for, you'll say somewhere around 50, 100,000, somewhere there, more or less. If it's less than that amount, it could work as well. There may be other reasons for expenses, cash flow, emergency funds, payroll, other things, okay? But for those of you who want a new vehicle, are making repairs, want to add a new truck, and so forth, you really have to understand what you can qualify for. That's why I wanted to make this video. And what you're looking on the screen here is one program through David Allen Capital Inc. Most of you have heard about them already. And you can get it through Bank Breezy, small business funding, get up to 25,000 today, same day, instant approval funding deposited into your account. You can use to build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch. Some of you have likely already heard that from me. Now, while it's great to get up to 25,000, you're asking yourself, how can I get more than that? And how do I qualify? And that's very important, you know, specifically in the trucking business, it is different because it is more high risk. You got to look at it from the lender's point of view. They are risking giving you a lot of money, even if you do make a specific income level, which we're going to get into. What happens is, what if that tire blows out? A couple of them do. Now you're set back. Maybe you just have one truck now, or you don't have any. What do you think will happen to your bottom line? Your cash flow will go down. Okay, declines. And you'll probably be thinking, well, I can deposit other funds into this area so that we keep running. I have a partner, etc. That doesn't matter. Okay. What the lenders want to see is if they give you that 50,000, 100,000 plus, wherever it is, to get a new vehicle, something that's more costly, it's a high risk to them. They want to make sure that they're getting their money back in return, safe and secured. And they can't use projections. I've spoken with many of you. The reality is, you can tell me all day long that if I had a new truck, you know, I could be bumping up another 15,000 to 30,000. Right now I'm at 10,000. I can't qualify for 1 to 2 times my monthly revenue. But if I just had that one truck and I can make, you know, get into that range, that's projections. And I like that, you're future pacing. But the reality is you got to take what you can and go with it. And if you can't use it for that truck, I'd suggest you do. I've had plenty of people just recently and then last week who declined offers because they were looking for like 50,000. They were looking for like a new truck or for new equipment that was very expensive. And they were offered something far less. Reason? Because in the trucking industry, and if I didn't make this clear in my last videos in our conversation, let me say it now. So if you're doing 20,000 plus per month within each of the last 3 months in sales, okay, you can get from 75% to 100% of your monthly. So if you're doing 20,000 around their average for the last 3 months, we'll expect around 15 to 20,000 that can be given to you. And the reason it is like this again is because it's a high risk. Okay, you want that to buy a new truck, but that's just not going to happen. There's always ups and downs. Logistics, whatever type of job you're in, that will happen. So this reason and many more that the lenders look at, and they have a pattern that they see, and it can cause defaults, okay? Especially if you're doing monthly payments, defaults. I just had a recent client who I stuck it through with time and ended up they had an MCA default and they wanted 100,000. They had the income to show for it, but because they had a previous default, they couldn't get funding like literally ever again. Really, didn't matter if it was a month ago, 6, a year plus. That's the problem. And if you try to turn to the SBA, there are bigger requirements, to be honest with you. Uploading personal bank statements, have more verification, higher credit scores. You might even have to put in some collateral. There's more backbone. That's not all of it. There's more to it, but I won't spend time on that. So you have to be careful. So if you're going to get up to 2 million and you were doing 20,000 plus per month, you can expect from 75,000 to 100% 75% to 100%. But if you're doing 35,000, which I laid out here in this article, and it can work here with David Allen Capital and specifically everywhere else too. And if you're doing 35,000 plus per month in sales within each of the last 3 months, preferably we want to see 50,000, and you have 2+ years in business, 18 plus can be acceptable, 18 months, then you can qualify with other things like the FICO, 500 plus FICO, 4+ months, or not 4+ months in business for the specific 35,000, an example. A business checking account, online banking is set up, minimal NSFs, and a few other things in there. But that's what you're looking at. If you want to get that new truck, you have to know this and don't be discouraged. For me, it was a little discouraging to see that people didn't take the offer. I added so much value, but a little bit it's on my part too. I'll take some of that. And I had people who were doing the 20,000 and wanted 50,000, and the reality is you're not going to get that unless you're doing the 35,000 plus, and that even puts you into our preferred client plan, which we're doing for the fourth quarter. As the time of me making this video, it might not be available later on, could be, but that's how you look at it. And I put here 20,000 plus in the last 3 months, 75 to 100%. And the thing about that is don't be discouraged. If you are doing the 20,000 plus, then what you can do is get 15,000, for example, if that's the minimum, or if it's at 20,000, get the maximum. And then in 45 days, add on another 20,000, right? That's how this game needs to be played when you're in the trucking industry. And that is the reality of it as a non-startup. And if you can't get that truck, you can't get an SBA loan, can't get other means of funding, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go somewhere else to find out because DAC gave me a lowball offer. Best of luck. I spoke to a couple of individuals yesterday and I left it at that. If you do need help with funding, you know where to find me. I wasn't saying sorry, I couldn't help. I wasn't saying I wasn't trying to be overly impressive. I'm just stating the fact that you know where to find me. And so when that's the case, you're going to go look in other places. I guarantee you that. You're going to go shop around because that's what I would do if I didn't know any better. And I had somebody telling me, I'm not going to believe this Michael guy. Go do it all day long if you want. You're going to be ending up wasting more time. There are only a few lenders out there and we work with them that are the best. So go somewhere else, same results. And you can go get a merchant cash advance traditionally. You're going to get around the same with high interest rates. It's going to be very expensive, generally 50% plus more expensive than what you think these are, which are not. Again, loan, the benefit, does it outweigh the cost to pay back? So for many of you, if you are trying to get a truck, you probably have everything else orderly. You're like, I don't need to use it for payroll or other expenses. I just need it for a truck. And when you get an offer, if you wanted 50,000, but then you get 16,500 because you're falling into that 20,000, or you applied wrongfully and you're just doing 5,000, between 5,000 and like 19,000, and you won't qualify for that. So you got to take what you can get and use it if you have a purpose for it. So think about it like that. What can you use with that 16,500 that can then grow your bottom line, your profits? And then you start becoming more profitable. 20,000 coming in, now you can get from 75% to 100. And then next thing you know, you're getting the 30 to 35,000 range. And now you can start hitting on all cylinders. So if taking out 20,000 plus 20,000 after 45 days, add-on funds are available. Payment history will earn you more. Early paid discounts and rewards. There's nothing better than this. Okay, and I deal with like the owners. So, and I talk to, and I know these lenders and I know what's going on the back end. So if you don't believe me, so be it. I have many more people to help. So that's everything I wanted to go into in this video about trucking business funding for the up to 2 million. If you're doing 35,000 plus, we can get you the 1 to 2x your monthly revenue. So let's say you are doing 60,000 per month. We can get you from 60 to 120,000. Payment history earns you more. Add-on funds available, get more out. But if you're doing under 20,000, but you'd still like to get up to 25,000, you could try the Bank Breezy program here. If you're doing 5,000 plus in monthly bank revenue, business checking account, 6 months in business, 450 plus credit score, FICO, all industries are welcome. One of the best unparalleled service there is out there, bar none. Keep looking, see if you can go get a truck through someone else. Keep getting denied through the SBA. You don't have the right income levels. not the right credit, banking, personal verifications, time in business, up to 3 years of tax payment, tax statements or so. That's what you're looking at. That's the reality of it. So don't be down on yourself. If you want to look at David Allen Capital, again, I'll leave them down below in the description, the links for our couple of services. We have the Bank Breezy up to 25,000. Then there is the David Allen Capital for up to 2 million. And then there are other services, payment processing, customer financing, and more things, right? You can use this revenue-based funding working capital to apply it for equipment. Look at it that way. And then the rest of the information, if you want to know like repayment and stuff like that, I won't go too in depth into this video, but I'll leave this post down below, as well as I have other things with separate videos on like David Allen Capital, Bank Breezy, and so forth you can know more about. But we don't do interest rates. We do total payback between 1.19 to 1.49, like 1 to 1.5 is what you can expect. And it's very minimal. And again, that comes back to, does the benefit outweigh the cost? If it doesn't, then it doesn't make sense for you or I. And for those of you who are just looking for a truck, it wouldn't make much sense, would it? To take a $16,000 offer when you can only need to use that for anything else. But if you do find yourself needing that, because you can use it for inventory, other things, buy a new wheel, buy chain, something different, then what do? You go for it. Or you can reserve that as emergency funds for cash flow. But for many of you, you don't have enough cash flow coming in per month to justify it. And I get it. So that's the reality of it. And just be weary that so many people go into default, and you're done, period. And that's why monthly, daily payments that you can handle that are micro, I prefer. Many businesses do. And so you get micro payments. I'll try to have another video for the whole no interest rate micro payments on a certain offer, what it would be. I'll leave it down below in the description. If not there in time, it'll be there. But you can learn more about it. 1 to 2x your monthly revenue. Again, no interest rates, total payback. It's calculated on daily micro payments. Sometimes weekly, you can handle it. We won't ever give you something you can't. How is that calculated? Again, I'll have another video. Early pay discounts, so much more rewards, and therefore, okay. So, oh, one other thing too. Lastly, before I let you go, put this document together of the client problems and complaints that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so this is what I hear a lot of the time: not enough monthly income, non-consistent income, negative bank statements, too many NSFs, insufficient funds, unrealistic funding expectations, a huge one. You may have that when we're talking, but I'll correct it. It's okay. I don't expect you 100% to know that. No business checking account, not high enough of a FICO. Don't know what a FICO is. Don't know how to check their FICO. So I've done that, which is fine. Benefit for funding outweigh the cost of your repayment. If it doesn't make sense. And then it'll be expensive. Then you might think about it as a debt. Think these are grants in an SBA. Too many startups seeking too much high funding as well. We have people who lie a lot. I've had a lot of people come in and saying, oh yeah, I do 20,000. I could do 35,000 plus per month. Turns out they had one $20,000 month. Another one was like 10, 14,000. Doesn't work that way. Forget about the application. Too many IP address problems can happen, but there's a workaround. Just got to be patient. Don't need money now. Don't really have a need. Wrong applicants, no bank statements, sole proprietors, for certain services. Repayment capability, terms, payment types, interest rates, if any, and there's more. The list goes on and on. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. And if you haven't picked up yet my free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist, so you can see everything before you walk in and start an application, so you can save yourself time, energy, and so much more, check that out down below in the description. And let me know in the comment section what you're currently struggling with, if anything, okay? And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click on the bell notification icon so you don't miss a future video I'll be coming out with, okay? Thank you. Bye.